My name is Carolyn Hornell, and I am the Associate Director of Alumni Relations here at Vancouver Community College. Welcome to Experience VCC. Does anyone need ASL interpreting? If you do, please let us know in the chat. Tyler is here already, so we're off to a good start. I just want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded. If you have any questions as you go along, please do put them in the chat. We are here for health administration. So if you're not here for health administration, you are in the wrong room. But stick around anyway, it's got some great information. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that both the downtown and Broadway campuses are on the unceded and traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. So it is our honor to work, study, and play here on those lands. And I ask you to take a moment to acknowledge the lands that you are coming to us from today. We do have Angela, our international advisor, on the line, so she can ask or answer any questions that you may have that are specific to international students. I believe we may also have a domestic advisor on the line, but please ask questions in the chat and we will be happy to do our very best to answer those questions as we go. All right, so I'd like to introduce you to Julia Slade. She is with the Medical Office Assistant Program. Julia, please take it away.
Thanks, Carolyn. Welcome, everybody. Glad you were able to drop by, and I hope we can give you some of the information you've been looking for. The Medical Office Assistant Program is a 6-month full-time program that readies you to work in a variety of different settings, anywhere from a private practice, multi-physician practice, clinics. Most often people think of doctors' offices. And that is where a large amount of MOAs start off and continue to be needed. So it is, as I said, it's 6 months. The last 3 weeks of the 6 months are when you put your learning together, and you will go out into the industry and you will do a 3-week work experience. And that really allows students to consolidate what they've spent, almost the last 6 months learning, and then see how that actually translates into real life. You have mentors in the Practicum experience. It is the only course out of all of them that is not a letter grade. It's just simply a SRU. A number of our students, a large number, I should say, get asked by their practicum placement whether they want employment before they've even finished their practicum. So the good thing to know is there's a strong demand for this role. And the other thing too is that it is classified when statistics are kept about all the current jobs that are out there. This is an HOO. So it is a high occupation opportunity. So what that means is there is a predicted growth, and this goes right into 2029 so far for every year. And this is an area that is in high demand. You are going to be going to school with 23, maximum 24 of your classmates. It is not like the big, huge lecture halls with 250 people in them. So you get to know your classmates. Part of your studying and learning will be done with your classmates. There's a certain amount of group work. You will be doing presentations. You will be doing asynchronous activities, which you will be doing on your own. you are also tested by a variety. So we don't leave it up just to one way of looking to see whether your learning is progressing the way it should. There's a variety of different ways that we use. Your instructors have a variety of experience in the industry. Some of us still do a little bit of work in the industry. So you've got, different people with different experience and different knowledge, all giving you that perspective as well. Our graduation rates or our employment rates after graduation are quite high. I've just been looking at the statistics because we've been doing a program renewal, and it's 97% within 4 months have been offered employment. Because it is in a high demand area, you look at those numbers and you know that the people who aren't working yet, by the time you look at it again in 6 months, it'll be another, 2%. And that the 1% that isn't captured, it's usually because they want to take some time off, or they have a trip they want to do before they sort of get their heels dug in there. There's lots of changes going on in healthcare. I think that's just a constant now. It's funny that we talk about changes so much, because really that is the constant. There's a lot more to do now with technology than you might have remembered in maybe younger years going to the doctor's office. A lot more technology, including social media, including Access, Word, Outlook, and all of those things get covered in your program. I think I will, I should just give you a bit of an idea about the day and the week. So the day is usually from 8 to 3. Sometimes it's from 8:30 to 3:30, depending on instructor availability. And it goes Monday to Thursday. It is a full-time program. And so on Friday is the one day you don't have to be in class. So on Friday, that's called a lab day, and students use it to catch up on the week, to catch up on their homework, to catch up on assignments, to meet with other classmates if you're working on a group presentation. And if you're 100% all up to date, for students that work, that is sometimes used for one of their work days that they can pick up a shift. One thing I'd like to just let you know is this is a quite dense and a fast-paced program. And so we advise students right off the bat that part-time, and at the max 3, being part-time, is probably all you will be able to do without falling behind quite significantly because of the pace of the program. Once you do fall behind, I can just tell you from experience, having watched students do this, it's extremely difficult to catch up. So we try to let students know before they're even in the program what to expect in that way. Okay, I think I'll leave it there, that you have my email there, and please feel free to email me with any additional things that you think of after the time. Okay.
Thanks, Julia. We're going to let you keep going with medical transcriptionist.
Okay, great. Medical transcriptionist and MOA, they're two pieces in the healthcare delivery that superficially can look similar sometimes, but they're actually quite different. So whereas the role of the MOA is to manage a medical practice. or an allied health practice. And that will include dealing with the patients, helping with procedures, scheduling, being the source, the go-to source of information for the physicians and staff. You are definitely multitasking, and you need to enjoy people as well for a majority of the MOA positions. Not all, but most. Medical transcriptionist is much more of a solo or an individual role. So these are the folks that turn what happened to the patient, whether it was emergency, outpatient clinic, doctor's office, the OR, what happened to the patient there. So that patient encounter, medical transcriptionists turn it into a legal document. So they transcribe what has been loaded by the doctor, and they make it into a legal record of that patient encounter. So just like the MOA, a lot of responsibility, but the medical transcriptionist, the picture you see on the screen there, that is how they spend their day. So they are listening to the information and they are making it into a document. There is no patient contact. There used to be a lot of departments in hospitals where transcriptionists were congregated. That there's still some left, but it's not what it used to be. One of the things that has changed in recent years is with technology, you don't need to be on site to listen to a transcription. So many medical transcriptionists work from home. The other thing that you can do with this career is you can start your own business instead of going through a middle agency, right? So the agency is the middleman between the hospitals or the clinics and the transcriptionist. Some people decide, you know what, I don't need that middleman. I've got enough of a network that I can go out and source my own clients, and I will work directly with them. And that is covered in the program as well. There are some similar courses between MOA and MT. Obviously, the foundational ones of medical terminology are the obvious. The speed and accuracy, which is about keyboarding, those are other ones. The keyboarding, that is really important and goes throughout both programs, actually, just because not only do you want the speed so that the efficiency in the workplace can be maintained, but these are legal documents. They can be subpoenaed by courts, by the law. And so the accuracy in both areas is extremely important. The types of people vary a little bit between those that are drawn to MOA and those that are drawn to transcriptionists. Both jobs are demanding, both jobs are very responsible, but one has a more outward facing element to it, and that's the MOA. People who prefer to work alone are internally motivated. You know, they're happy to just sit down and work for their workday, might be more drawn to the transcriptionist role. The graduation employment stats for this is also very good, just like the MOA. Within 6 months, it's 96%. Again, there is a practicum component to this program. And so you get 3 weeks at the end of your program that you go out into industry and work as you are going to be working when you're graduated. We're lucky that we have very good partnerships with our hosts, with our program advisory committees. And they also are lucky because they get our students and they want our students. We get sent their job postings all the time before they're released anywhere to the public. So it's a mutually beneficial arrangement, and we're happy about that.
Thanks so much, Julia. We are now going to move on to Health Unit Coordinator, and we have Radhika Kumar here, who is the Program Department Head for that, as well as Jen Day, who is a student who is just about to graduate from this program. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you, Julia. It was great to hear both of you. And hi, everybody. My name is Radhika, as Carolyn mentioned, and I have the privilege of coordinating and teaching in the Health Unit Coordinator program. And fun fact, I actually graduated from this program many years ago. So I currently still work as a nursing unit assistant at one of the Vancouver hospitals, and I've been there for, I think this year would be my third decade. So all of our instructors in the program continue to work at some level, some degree. I am very casual, but we have other instructors who are more part-time. And I can tell you that when I graduated from this program, I didn't know that I would end up here, but the amazing thing is I can attest to the opportunities that will come to you as a graduate of this program. So hopefully when you apply, you will enter either the January 2023 start or September 2023 start. Those are the two intakes that we have open for applications, and you will complete our program in 8 months. And during those 8 months, you're going to be taking a blend of theory courses and practice courses. All of our theory courses are online. There are some on-campus lab days, and all of your practice opportunities at hospital settings are based on the schedule of your preceptor. So when you are taking a theory class, you're going to be in class from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. We will give you the schedule well in advance, and each of your instructors will provide you with information on when to be arriving to a Zoom session. And as well, for our on-campus schedules, we will provide you with when to arrive to class and from what time. I also wanted to share with you that a little bit about the role of the Health Unit Coordinator. So you're going to hear or see job opportunities under the term Clinical Support Clerk, Unit Coordinator, Nursing Unit Assistant, Booking Clerk roles. These are all employment opportunities within the hospital setting that you can apply to. And I wanted to also tell you a little bit about the administrative role. It's a clerical support role where you're going to be working generally on a nursing unit, and you're going to help facilitate physicians' orders. And that could be using a computer system. It could be electronic health records. You could be utilizing physical patient charts. And so we will walk you through within the program how to complete orders on a non-electronic health record and electronic health record. It's a rewarding position working in healthcare. You're going to be supporting colleagues, various clients and their families, and physicians and other healthcare professionals. You're usually the go-to person when you're on the nursing station if they can't find a nurse. And you clarify requests from families and patients. You could be booking appointments, facilitating documents electronically to a department, from a department. So having a little bit of office skills is a nice characteristic, but not necessary. And I also talked about facilitating physicians' orders using computer systems. It's a dynamic field. And when you graduate with the Health Unit Coordinator certificate, you're able to work in a variety of different settings. It could be fast-paced. It could be maybe on the slower pace in community or long-term care settings. You can work in clinics, and maybe you might want to work full-time. You might want to work part-time. There's lots of employment opportunities. Our students have a high rate of graduation, and similar to Julia's students, if students are wanting a little bit of break after completing an 8-month program, sometimes that will, they might take a few weeks off or a few months off, maybe do some traveling, and then apply to positions. So we do have a high employment rate, 96, 97%. And when you're working full-time in the hospital, you can work at schedules that range from 7 to 3, 9 to 5. You can find lines that are all evenings, or maybe all day shifts, or maybe you would like some afternoons or weekends. The nice thing about this position is that what I've seen is you can modify, you can move to a different line or a different nursing unit, and it can adjust to your lifestyle. So there's a plethora of opportunities out there. The wage rate is about just almost $25 an hour, and the wage schedule is dictated by the Hospital Employees Union. I will put the chat in the linked in the chat so that you can see our wage schedule, and it's determined through a collective agreement between the employer and the union. What else can I tell you? Typical workload for a student in the program, we suggest about 15 hours per course per week. And sometimes you're taking 2 to 3 courses at the same time. Your practicum schedules, you'll be basically asked to follow another unit clerk preceptor, unit coordinator preceptor, and we ask you to have your schedule open to do so. So when you're learning in your theory classes, you're going to keep your schedule open from 8 to 3, Monday to Friday, and your practicum could be weekends, it could be days. So we ask you to keep those weeks open. Job prospect is very high. We are in demand across the health authorities in the Lower Mainland. Jen Day is our student who's almost graduating, and we'll be sharing a little bit about life as a student, but also employment opportunities that maybe she has come by. Lots of different assessment methods that we're going to be sharing with you in the program. You will be learning through group work, individual assignments. There's projects, presentations, quizzes. Further to that, there's also a short, less than 5-minute nursing unit clerk video that I wanted to share with you. It's created by the National Association of Health Unit Coordinators. It's based in the States. So there's one aspect in the video that will not apply to graduates of the program in Canada, and that's the medical billing feature. Other than that, we have our information session next week, and that's April 27th at 3 p.m. If you do intend to apply, please make time to attend an information session. If it's not next week, perhaps another time in future.
All right. Perhaps we could pass it off to Jen for a few minutes. All right. Jen, why don't you give us a little bit of a story about what it's like to be a student in the Health Unit Coordinator program?
Sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Jen. I am a week away from graduation in the Health Unit Coordinator program. So I started in September of 2021, and I have a little write-up for you guys. So For me, choosing VCC to further my studies as an adult learner was really easy. I wanted the best education possible, and the Health Unit Coordinator program here at VCC is recognized as one of the best. I think the most important thing to know about being an HUC is that you've got to stay on your toes. Each day as an HUC is different, whether it's different patients or different doctors, the medical field is always changing and always growing. And that's what's so exciting for me and what I look forward to the most as an HUC. Besides that, a strong desire to help people and a love of organization are some key traits of a health unit coordinator. I'm so happy I took a leap of faith and ended up here at VCC. I have a great network of support within my class cohort, and my instructors have been supportive and helpful every step of the way. On top of the support I have received in class, there are some great resources outside of class, like access to counseling, that are always available to the students. Now that I have almost completed my second of 2 practicums and I am a week away from graduation, I can truly say I have enjoyed my time here at VCC so much. Taking this leap and signing up for the HUC program was one of the best decisions I have made, and I am so excited to take the next step and start working in the field. VCC helped set me up for success, and for that I am so grateful. I wish nothing but the best for you in your future studies, and I hope to be soon working with you side by side as health unit coordinators. Thank you so much. As far as the program goes, what Radhika was saying is correct. It's a full-time program, so really making sure that you stay on top of your program is and your studies is definitely key to this program.
Thanks, Jen. So can you tell me, did you go all the way through and then do your 2 practicums right at the very end? Or was there a period of study, then a practicum, a period of study, and then a practicum?
Yeah, so from September to November, we did online courses. And then for December up until the December break, we were in our first practicum. And then from January to March, we did study again. And then at the end of March, we started our second practicum, which is a little bit longer. The first practicum was about 2.5 weeks. The second is about 4.5 weeks.
So that's a lot of time to really get in there and practice what you've learned and put your knowledge to the test.
Yeah, it was great. They were both on site at different hospitals. I was at 2 different hospitals learning 2 different systems. So you really get an idea of what the work field is going to be like and which systems you'll be working with in Vancouver, which was really helpful. And some girls did a practicum at a care home. So if that's something you're interested in, there's also that option as well.
And it also let you operate in 2 different teams of people, because often who you work with changes the dynamic. So I'm sure that was interesting as well.
Absolutely. My first practicum was on a cardiac wing, and my second practicum was on a maternity wing. So very different pace and completely different clientele, patient.
Yeah, we were speaking earlier and I said it's like the longest job interview ever.
Yes, exactly.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining with us today and giving your experience. I think that's really helpful
Thank you so much for having me.
Prospective students to hear. Does anyone have any questions for Radhika or Jen? And Julia has left us, but please do know that you can email her at any time should you have any questions. Radhika was saying that there is a info session coming up on Wednesday, April 27th at 3 p.m. You can find these at any time at vcc.ca/info. It will list all of the upcoming info sessions that we have for all of the different programs. So you'll see them all there. That is your very next step if you're thinking about pursuing applications. If you think you know which one you want to go with, then by all means go ahead and apply. But if you need a little bit more information, please do attend an info session. I'm just looking to see. There is a question. What is the requirement for HUC?
Okay, I will take that. So Karen, thank you so much for asking that question. One of the requirements, admission requirements for the Health Unit Coordinator program is to attend an information session after you've applied. You also need to have English 12 with the B. There's different English courses, and so I'll pop in a link so that will help you with navigating the English course and whether you've met the English requirement. And if you haven't, there's also options where you can look at a placement test. There's a mature applicant criteria that you may be able to navigate. So after English and an info session, we also want you to have a keyboarding test, and the minimum speed is 30 words per minute with 5 or less errors, and that will show 98% accuracy. And then after you've applied and you've met your requirements, hopefully you'll be offered a seat either in the January or the September intake. And at that point, we ask you to work on some of the specific program requirements, which are your criminal record check, all of your immunizations that you need to complete. And we do, because we're going to be in healthcare, one of the biggest questions is, do I need to have my COVID-19 vaccine? And the answer is yes. If you're unable to obtain your COVID-19 vaccine, that means you will not be able to be placed in a health authority setting, and it's a health authority requirement to have that. So hopefully I've answered your question, Karen, and I'm also going to pop in a link regarding the specific entrance requirements. You're welcome. And then there's a drop-down menu for program requirements. Great.
Great. Any questions about prereqs for any of the programs? Advising is also capable of answering those questions. And there is an open advising drop-in session from 9:30 to 4 today, and you can always reach them at advising@vcc.ca as well. Lynn has asked, what is the biggest difference between MOA and HUC?
It's a great question. So there's a couple of details that really stand the two positions apart. The first detail is an MOA is employed in typically a physician office. And as Julia said, it could be a single physician, it could be multiple physicians. Whereas a health unit coordinator is in a hospital setting, and you could work in a nursing unit, as Jennifer mentioned. She was placed on a maternity ward or a cardiac unit. So the environment is very different. Our unions are different, and therefore our wage schedules are different as well. The work that we perform is a little bit different as well. On a nursing unit, you will typically have anywhere from 10 to 30 patients. And as the clerical support role, you'll be tasked with managing all of the orders that come through, as well as facilitating some of the orders with other departments and personnel to ensure that what the physician wants the patient to have done will be done. So you're in charge of answering the phones and so forth, versus an MOA would typically be in a physician office. If you think back to your own GP office, they're the clerical support at the main desk. And although their volume of charts will depend on how many patients they see that day, the type of work is very different because the MOAs have a billing aspect and different procedures as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you have further questions, please pop them in the chat. I'm sure Radhika can answer them in there. We still have Angela, who is our international advisor, on the line, and that link for the domestic advising drop-in is in there as well, I see, as the Indigenous drop-in advising session. I'm going to talk to you for just a couple of minutes about some of those services for students that Jen talked about briefly. Advising and counseling are two different things, both of which are available to students before they become students, so prospective students like yourselves. Advising is for when you know what program you want to take, but you don't know if you have the right prerequisites. So I know, for example, that I want to go into health unit coordinator, but I'm not sure that I've got the right English. I'm not sure that I've got exactly the right things. That is when you go to advising and you ask them, you know, here's my transcript, here's my work experience, here's my life experience. Can any of these be used to meet the requirements? If you're not sure if health unit coordinator is the right thing for you, maybe you want to go into Bachelor of Science in Nursing, or maybe you want to do something else. Maybe it's hospitality. You just don't know what quite is the right fit for you. Counseling is where you want to go. They can help answer or help guide you in the right direction. Once you become a student, counseling services are also there for you to help you with any life issues that you're having. If your workload is just too much, if your balance is out of whack and you just need to talk to somebody, counseling services is where you go to for some help. Financial aid is always available to VCC students. We are here to make sure that students succeed, and financial barriers should never be something that keeps you from continuing in your studies. We have bursaries available, which are anonymous and do not need to get paid back. If you are finding yourself in financial crisis, go to financial aid and say so. We will help you find some help for you. We have scholarships and awards. Not everything is about GPA. A lot of our awards are based on your leadership skills, your creativity in the classroom, your willingness to overcome barriers, your willingness to work hard. VCC recognizes effort on multiple levels. And so there is always something to recognize your work and support you financially. Indigenous services have a plethora of aids available for Indigenous students. We are one of the only institutions that holds at least 2 seats for Indigenous students in every program. If we have 6 people of Indigenous background that meet the requirements, they get a seat. And again, they go from prospective students right through alumni. They are there to help and support. They also help support the college as a whole with the indigenization of our curriculum and making sure that Indigenous initiatives are front and center in everything we do. Disability services are huge at VCC. We are a full access community college. You saw Tyler there at the beginning. We started off our program offering ASL interpreting just in case someone needed it. If you find that you have anxiety around test taking, get in touch with disability services. We can offer you a quiet space, more time for tests. Again, our goal is to make sure that you succeed as a student. Approach these services and get the help that you need in order to succeed. And there is free professional tutoring available at both campuses. I highly encourage you as a student to take advantage of this. It's an incredible service. You do book an appointment online, and I can't tell you how many students have sung the praises of this service and how much it has helped them succeed in their studies. All right, so your next steps. What do I do now? Attend an information session. So you've attended sort of a mini one today. As we told you, there's a couple of very specific longer ones coming. So you could do a full 45 minutes on health unit coordinator or medical office assistant. If you go to vcc.ca/info, that lists all of those info sessions that are coming up. If you know what program you're wanting to go to, meet with an advisor. Again, that drop-in session is posted in the chat. If you're ready to apply, go to vcc.ca/apply. If you do it today or within the next week, for domestic students, we will waive that $35 application fee if you put in the program code INFO, INFO 0422. We haven't made it super easy. There's a O and a 0 right next to each other. Info 0422 will waive that domestic application fee. Again, thank you so much for joining us here today at Experience VCC. I hope that you learned a lot about some of the medical or the health administration programs that we have. If you have any last minute questions, please send them off to Radhika or Julia personally. They can let you know. Advising has lots of information for you in terms of the requirements that you need to apply. I want to thank you again for joining us today. Wish you the very best of luck, and I hope to see you on campus. Thanks so much for joining us.